With the Icons Global Championship drawing closer, it's time to lock in the contenders. And for this episode, we're going to take a look at the North American LAN event, the grand final of the WNS 2022 Championship. More specifically, highlight one player that has stood out throughout all of Immortal's games during this tournament. IMT Lebmont on his Kha'Zix in Game 4 of the best of 7 series against the Sentinels showcased the following: how to maneuver Kha'Zix during the early game, how to secure objectives, how to pilot Kha'Zix within teamfights, how the evolutions influence fights, and how to play for time in order to win. As the game starts, Lebmont makes the decision to go for a full red side jungle clear. Doing so provides the biggest amount of safety as you slowly approach your very first power spike. For Kha'Zix, the game is a bit different. IMT Lebmont primary's goal throughout the early game is to reach level 5 as fast and safely as possible, and here's why. Kha'Zix evolves through different stages of the game as he reaches level 5, 9 and 13. Don't you worry, we'll walk you through every single choice he made regarding that one. Every evolve is a massive game changer and changes the identity of the champion. Especially the very first one is the biggest damage increase you can ask for. To reach that goal of level 5, Lebmont walks into Hoon's lane, quickly scoops up a few minions and makes sure that Hoon can move at a moment's notice. After that, Lebmont takes care of the Skull Crab on Iraqi Zoro's side as he's in a position to move whenever he pleases. Completing this little objective, Lebmont then moves over to fully clear the remainder of his jungle. Upon purchasing the Dustblade of Draktar, Lebmont's Kha'Zix is finally unleashed. With that item, you will always know if you're currently seen, be it by a ward, player or minions. All you have to look out for is the little buff you have in your buff minibar. Once that buff starts to decay, you immediately know that you're currently seen and therefore are able to avoid any kind of trap. With that in mind, pay close attention to what Lebmont does with that information. He starts sweeping the area with the sweeping lens to secure his teammates' entry to the dragon area. On his way, Lebmont makes the conscious call to hide behind the Scuttle Crab, which acts as a natural wall that Beginnings Thresh cannot hook through. With the way cleared, Lebmont spots the HP of the dragon and makes a clutch decision. He tries to steal the dragon. Beginnings, Marley and Sheesh are gathered around the dragon and it's getting dangerously low, but there's not much they can do about what's coming next. Utilizing Kha'Zix's ultimate ability Void Assault combined with the objective button, Kha'Zix's first ability and smite is nearly impossible to deal with, especially for Shee's Olaf. Securing the Infernal Dragon for his team, Lebmont is trying to run for his life, but not on Marley's watch. Dragon secured, but at what cost? As Iraqi Zoro's Camille is getting taken out of the game, IMT responds swiftly by launching an all-out assault on the middle lane tower. Upon the tower's destruction, Rest flashes in his light binding to catch Hoon off guard. Now Lebmont is put in one of the most difficult positions for any Kha'Zix player: grouped up teamfights. Without the isolation bonus damage, Kha'Zix's damage often feels lacking, but pay close attention as to how Lebmont is piloting this deadly assassin. He goes for the closest target, Marley, who is isolated to inflict the most damage possible. Once he puts his spells on cooldown, he tries to reposition himself with the power of stealth through his Void Assault. Within that process, it's mandatory for every Kha'Zix player to properly observe the playing field you find yourself in. Take note on how Lebmont creates space between him and the potential threats to then punish Beginnings' over-aggression with a swift death. For all Kha'Zix players, this champion is about waiting for the perfect moment to strike, finding it, and shamelessly abusing it on cooldown. Once you've started snowballing, you'll devour everything in your way. Kha'Zix is a monster when it comes to taking down objectives. His first ability, Taste Their Fear, excels at collecting those immediately whenever he is left alone with those. And even as sentinels are approaching, there's not a single worry that clouds Lebmont's mind. He knows that Taste Their Fear and Smite will net him yet another dragon. But the important part is what happens next. For his second evolution, Lebmont chose to evolve his second ability, the Void Spike. The reason for this is a little bit more complex than it seems at first, but I'll break it down for you. The evolved spike racks allow the assassin to turn into a champion that can influence fights from afar. Now, Lebmont can slow down the entirety of sentinels and enable his team to catch up. While being immensely slowed through Lebmont's void spikes, Iraqi Zoro, Gume, Charm and Hoon start chasing down the survivors. To finish up this mess, Lebmont takes it upon himself to flash over the wall and send Rest straight to the fountain. On level 13, the game changes once again due to Lebmont's choice. This time, he evolves his third ability Leap into the evolved Wings. Unshackled from his former limit to movement, Lebmont is now able to do something Kha'Zix usually isn't designed to do. Engage fights headfirst by jumping close and then slowing them down with the evolved spike racks. This allows his team to punish the slowed down enemies, while Lebmont can run around in stealth to gain a proper overview of this fight. Another neat thing about Kha'Zix wings is that their cooldown is reset once he kills someone or assists in a takedown. But in order to play Kha'Zix like Lebmont does, you need to understand the following. Who is a threat to you and why? In this scenario, Beginning's threat can cast a literal death sentence in Lebmont's way and stop him in his tracks. Therefore, you need to be aware of the most dangerous spells on the enemy team. Generally speaking, any type of crowd control is a potential threat to you and you need to look out for that. Doing it like Lebmont in this case would be about displaying immaculate movement in combination with stealth to avoid those deadly encounters. Once that is done and your team is up to speed when it comes to putting the enemy low enough, it's your time to shine. The highlight of any Kha'Zix gameplay. Jumping around and tasting their fear as they fall down beneath you to grant you yet another reset on your wings. Adding in Stasis and Guardian Angel to your inventory makes it even harder for the enemy to punish you. Just look at how brazen Lebmont is abusing the Dustblade's passive to see if he is unseen while trapping inside Sentinel's jungle. But how is he able to do that with Kha'Zix without worrying about his own demise? With Guardian Angel and Stasis in his inventory while having evolved spikes and wings, it becomes very hard for Kha'Zix to die. Lebmont is now able to waste a lot of time and bait the enemy into thinking they have indeed caught him, but in the end it's all just according to Lebmont's plan. Deal damage, bait them to fully commit to you, turn golden, repeat the damage part and then either escape or return via Guardian Angel. With the most cooldowns blown away by Sentinels to take care of Lebmont's Kha'Zix, IMT has an easy time cleaning the floor with Sentinel's weakened champions. And all of that just happened due to Lebmont's creativity with Kha'Zix. He combined the sneaky tactics of an assassin with the engage potential of a Malphite within the champion that isn't piloted that way. Normally at least. You want to see more WRE content? Then hype yourself up for the Icons Global Championships 2022 in Singapore. From the 14th of June to the 9th of July, a series of insane games will unfold where the world's best Wild Rift team will be crowned.